So this is an elegy. Obviously, we've been losing some giants. This is an elegy for Ornette Coleman. Lost him on June 11th. Yeah, but he's still with us. This is called Ornate, Culmination. So let me just share a few things. There's a refrain from his 1959 album, The Shape of Jazz to Come. Please bear with me back there with the talking. He was in a band when he was in high school called the Jam Jivers. When I refer to the Ozark Apprenticeship, that's Charlie Hayden. When I refer to Cherry, that's Don Cherry. I say Eldridge, I'm referring to Roy. I'm sorry if I'm insulting anyone out there. I think a saxophone, I don't know how many of you are familiar with Spanish, but like if you ask a question in Spanish, you have a question mark that's upside down at the beginning, like this, and then kind of below the question, then another one on the other side. So that sort of reminds me of a saxophone, so I make a reference to that. I refer to his records, To Whom Who Keeps the Record, Now There's a Circle with a Hole in the Middle, and A Holiday for a Graveyard, which was a tribute to John Coltrane. Ornate Culmination. The epigraph is from Louis Armstrong. What you hear from a man's horn is what he is. Louis Armstrong. Nappy alchemist, gut bucket Gnostic, The Shape of Jazz to Come. Concentrated escapade, quarter tone store clerk, chocolate charlatan, The Shape of Jazz to Come. Mama Great Depression, Lone Star State, dollar scrape enough. Her coins gathering slow as 1,500 hungry, unreconstructed atheists forced to attend a revival meeting in exchange for government cheese. She was able to give you your second wind at 14, your thanks. Deep tone Texas tenor, 15 of those quarter notes, big toes kicking you in the rump and out the high school band for swinging Sousa's Washington Post march. Da-da-da-da-dum, da-dum, da-dum, dum. Ba-da-ba-ba-bum. Your thanks, Bayou Jam Jiver, nightclub gig, applause inside turned into an invitation outside, then fists upside your head for blaspheming Saturday night's religion, which any hipster knew was rhythm. You found your sax flat as an omelet beside the club's dumpster, smashed to pieces, bits and pieces like drunk sunlight, not paying attention to where it was going or how fast. Even genius has to observe the cerebral speed limit. Your thanks, after some more Mama Slow Coin soup, this time for your bus ticket to LA. Dexter Gordon must have thought his tenor was akin to a cane hooked around your neck, dragging you off stage rather than letting you sit in. Like white cap smoke from his cigarette shooing you into the darkness. Panhandle Jesus, your beard is off key, you look out of tune, you work odd jobs to keep your odd job. It's the shape of jazz to come. Esoteric elevator operator, neo-primitive diatonic body piercer, it's the shape. When you put your tongue to your reed, are you raising hackles or spirits with the shape of jazz to come? The bell of your horns are belly cut open, then you ain't nothing but smears and screams, yet some dude's following you on an Ozark apprenticeship, his grand old avant-garde Opry, where the start-stop starts up again, thinking you might could add some Negro ingredients to some mulligan stew. Jerry's, that is. Thinking you'll be the blaze to start up that hobo jungle, you'll brandish your white plastic alto sax, start to blow a cloud of charm when you're told to stop. The session is jammed. So instead of bandstanding, you and your furloughed sound bleed from a back alley. The shape of jazz to come. Must be some Ozark Pinkertons, cause that white cat followed you to your pad. Music everywhere, so many sheets it was your living room filthy rug. The kitchen table's cloth, plop on your bed and the mattress starts to improvise because it's covered with sheet music. You and this Hayden played day and night. A few times you flung him some subterranean chord changes and a melody. But when you melodied and improvised, you wanted that avant-garde Ozark to change your changes. We live in a city where couples link pinkies and cars honk all at once. Life's like that. Why can't music be? The ugly angular against beauty, the faithful zigzag, the triple-time kaleidoscope, the shape of jazz to come. Not no one-trick squeal and blat, it'd soon be Hayden and Higgins, pretty please with a cherry on top. It'd soon be East Coast like-minded pocket trumpet nights, November 1959, impromptu tangerine, 5-spot neon lights, the new wave, the new music, the new thing, up-tempo, abbreviated Sigmund Freud feedback, a thumbnail sound museum, a A soul can be an abandoned building or performance space where Coca-Cola crates are broken, lacquered, and nailed together with harmonic jism spirits and blue voodoo beatdowns. The shape of jazz to come. 14-day engagement turned into 4 months, 6 nights a week. You getting on stage and boiling a fresh pot of breast spaghetti every day. Listening room only. The bell of your horn, a belly button, all these cats pressing their ears against, listening for your babies. Eldridge leaned in, once stoned, once sober, didn't get it either time. Mingus swore you was playing right, wrong. But Checkpoint Charlie needed to expand the vocabulary because the shape of jazz had come. Black Saint and the Sinner Lady, Rip Rig and Panic Lick Lick, your tie, a lowercase I, the knots, the dot, your shirt, sheet music, the taste of jazz to come. Even with a patron bursting into the kitchen to sock you, even with the Cadillac set ablaze out front, after all the cutting-edge contests you'd won, the shape of jazz had come. Hell, you were just Yardbird spreading his feathers a little farther, just the tales of Captain Black, Harmonic Bebop, Sex Spy. Just Dizzy playing Hot House and you smearing Cherokee simultaneously. Just jazz cliches taking a much-needed vacation. Your instruments both snake and charmer, ampersand and treble clef, Keaton Cobra and harmonic swami. Your sax a brass bookend of Spanish question marks, the vagabond beat in the big room, the 4-course meal, and you must eat them avant-garde veggies. The shape of jazz to come. You believed there were just 2 kinds of audiences, the ones who are standing up and the ones already laying in the ground. To who keeps the record? Now there's a circle with a hole in the middle. A 12-bar blues, a holiday for a graveyard. Cymbals lightly tapped like hooves on cobblestone. Your body was a fort worthy of its soul, an alto, a wind instrument, brass and spirit now curled in the fetal position of what some took for a casket, but was a case. Plush velvet lining, pop-open latches, to be lowered into a packed house, but with enough handles so the next cat who truly gets it will be able to carry on. Thank you. Another quickie. It's called Deep Thought. Hang in there. If you lose your marbles, the only thing you'll have left to play with are your balls. So this next piece I actually wrote also for the festival I read last year. I want to say thank you to Miss Parker. I understand it's her last year as artistic director, but she's reminding me she's still around as executive director, so be behaved. So I wrote this as a tribute for Amiri Baraka, who we'd also lost January of 2014, and the first time I read it here. Now I'm having a little moment because, yeah, I think I'm missing some pages, which that's not about time. Oh, don't do this to me. 4, where are the pages? Oh, I can't believe this. This is awful. I literally left 3 pages down in the green room. Is there somebody? Let me just check to see if they fell on the floor. As Popeye would say, this is embarrassing. I mean, I have other poems, but I really want to read this to you. Is there somebody who could possibly run down to the green room? There are 3 pages that would be numbered 1, 2, 3. They're the first 3 pages of a piece that's called Blues People. Is there anyone who's tech who could go down there for me? The green room. I'll read something in the interim, but so this is an elegy for Sean Bell. I mean, obviously, there's been a lot of young black men who've been. Well, let me ask you, would you rather hear an elegy for Sean Bell or something that's for Eric Garner and Michael Brown? How many people for Sean Bell? Raise your hands. Okay, how about Eric Garner and Michael Brown? Well, I got 20 minutes, so I can't be hogging the stage. All right, so this is called Swisher Sweets or Weather the Weather, and it's for Eric Garner and Michael Brown. Whether it's hotter than July or the dog days of August, whether it's Eastern Standard or Central Time, whether it's 3:45 or 12:01, whether it's 12 shots or 11 pleas, whether it's hands up or face down, whether it's can't breathe or don't shoot, whether it's Bay Street or Canfield Drive, whether it's the beauty supply or inconvenience store, whether they were on foot or behind the wheel, whether it's the Midwest or the Northeast, whether the year you died was the day the Bullet's daddy was born, whether you weren't selling Lucy's or lifting Swishers, whether you were both rocking Bermuda shorts and white tees, whether the front office mentioned khaki was the color of the day, whether asthma or apnea, whether you lecture or whether you hector, whether 6'3" or 6'4", whether your assassin is the same height or 6 inches shorter, whether you weigh $3.50 or 8 pounds short of 3 bones, whether you're going to college or going nowhere, whether you're a proud father or a gentle giant, whether you were selling or weren't stealing, whether it's Tompkinsville or Ferguson, whether the culprits are cops who are paid to do right but get away with doing wrong, whether what stands before them is X, Y, and black, you know what X does, it marks the spot. Whether the beef was because you were carded or had broken up a beef, whether you were standing tall or jaywalking, whether you take it personal or make it personal, whether you can't breathe or you can't shoot, whether the feds held 160,000 grand juries in 365 days and only 11 did better than a ham sandwich, which could be indicted, but not the pig it came from. Whether you're a crooked cop, the answer's always innocent, even when you're not. Whether you give up the ghost in an hour or an instant, whether your people lost the chocolate lottery and were brought here to play tug of war with tobacco, or whether your people were really underlings but thought they were overseers, whether 150 years later they call you cops and you still think we're picking crops. Whether a box of cigarettes leads to being sent home in a box, whether it's Lucky Strikes or cigarillos, whether you're teen or middle-aged, 18 or 43, choked or smoked, if you're a black man, America is a pack of cigarettes. It's time to crack it open, strike a match, light it up, put it to your lips, and smoke the bitch. Thanks for bearing with me. Believe it or not, I actually write sonnets too, but it's a performative space. So this is called Whose People, and as I said last summer, Ms. Parker was so kind as to have me participate, and I read this piece for Amiri Baraka, who obviously wrote a lot about the music. I refer to Donnell Lee, who was now known as Haki Madhubuti, and they were kind of contemporaries in the Black Arts movement. I'll just leave it at that. Whose People? Abandon the East Village, Afro-Bohemian, Dada, Shiki, Easy Does It, eating ham hocks, lazing in a ham hock, blues people. Donnell, Leroy Jones, Amiri Baraka, Madhubuti, changing same blues people. His mind left the melody construction site where nipple Negroes always took pulpit furloughs from the blues people. He comes out in hard covers to suss out the cover-ups, have heads levitating on his statements because he rises to the occasion like sourdough in an oven, say, what up, blood? Like our pink tongues was not so distant African cousins, he would drop science, then break it down like his mouth was the big top and the verbal circus had to leave town. Set up shop in Newark, they triumph where brothers and sisters were shattered by shadows and grilled sham sandwiches. So he gathered his own W.E.D. Du Bois in the hood, some forthright fifth columns, and his poem became sheets of sound for the silence blues people. Knowing he gonna pay an outcome tax for his uptrodden pork-free assaults in the gizzard labyrinth, honky-tonk, mellow dolly, Dickie-land band blues people. 67, when them billy clubs played a drum solo on his skull, he understood what the pigs meant about his pigment. They thought they was playing Stomp Him at the Savoy, but it was the blues people. Still he cleaned the jerk and keep on power lipping. Just from the weight of his words, he snap a hyphen in two like a punctuated barbell. His verbs shattering the ankles of exclamation points, adjectives trained in a 357 Magnum on a period, point blank range for the blues people. Cultural point guard, cross-court jester with the run and gun tongue, known for the cerebral shake and bake, dribbling truth up court, shooting insults from beyond the arc, or picking up an assist with a lyrical layup. Never an intellectual stutter step. Whenever he shot the shit, it was nothing but net for the blues people. Downright uproute bass tattooed by fables of Faubus with Mingus among us blues people. A tisket, a casket, we gonna elevate Fitzgerald, Art Pepper Adams, and Zoot Sims. An educated saxophonist is our best customer. Big band swing gussied up our gut bucket, stuffed it in a tux, and lynched it. Meanwhile, Bird was at Minton's cooking with gas. Watch that middle C minstrelsy. But what a little moonshine can do when you got the Cootie Williams blues, people. What happens when you wake up and discover your country is a genetically modified orgasm? Incontinent bifocal hooligans hired by the powers that bebop so inlandish they ransack your nightmares, denying your way out alienable rights of life, liberty, and the pursuit of sunny stiffness. Still we'd be idiots for the idioms, Satchmo and Django, Sonny and Pharaoh, Hocus Potion blues, people. At the top of the chocolate charts, rhythm of booze, people. Brubeck, Take 5, call a cab Callaway, cause the Carter family, Betty, and Ron ain't chasing the train, choo-choo, chiboogie. Creole love call, lockjaw, Docktown, strutter blues, people. Your conch ain't nothing but a cotton club. Bobbing to the East St. Louis Toodaloo blues, people. Hawkins and Heath, Hinton and Hodges, Yardbird, a bebop, hypodermic needle in and from the heartland blues, people. Apostles of the 1 o'clock jop, oop-bop, shabam blues, people. Charlie Parker with no strings attached blues, people. How many D's before we do blues, people? Jelly rolls, jam sessions, it don't mean a thing if it ain't got that sting, cause the birth of the cool was actually on Dante's Inferno. Mysterioso, fuga, ditty, piano combat. Smalls paradise music so loud, make the Harlem River quiver. None of that Grey Poupon, napkin dab, oud de toilet, humbug jazz. We need some moody indigo outdentured serving blues people with a way out inferiority complex to reminisce in tempo about the shape of hard bop to come. Cause if Charlie Parker were a gunslinger, there'd be a whole lot of dead copycats. When they call you a psychotic wash rag existential chitlin, but you be Art Blakey, it's the blues people. When they downsize your boom shakalaka and indict your percussion for cussing, it's the blues people. Artie and Archie, the Shawshank Redemption, no matter Marvin the Smitty or Willie the Lion, someday my Smith will come. We got some Philly Joe, Harry Sweets, Poppy, Shampoo, Swellington, Way Out, Cantation, blues people. Billy, if the horn done strayed, take the A train with blues people. The Windy City 7, no Ethel's water's about to break, watch out blues people. These are a few of my favorite stings. Ragtime and Rainy and Swing Street and Chano, Cecil and Threadgill and Tiger Rag solos, cool bops and Creoles and downbeats of dizzies, bucking at contests with bass and street blues, people. We gonna infiltrate the Freedom Now suite with the swing low suite, Scadillac, Ornette, Coleman, free jazz, smorgasbord blues, people. 16th, 8th, and quarter notes don't get around much anymore, blues, people. Digging to the downtrodden megaphone of the misbegotten, feel holler if you hear me, blues, people. With a head bop haul from a smoke choke audience, he called out you as history. It's syphilitic lip sync, the way it strangled the microphone like a funky, unwitting, electrified chicken. He screamed, the truth was pre-recorded. You dubbed over the slaughter of the blues, people. Salt peanuts and honeysuckle child, God bless Lady Day, grits and gravy blues, people. Lake and Latif along with Captain Rossan, Roland Kirk live at the Starship Enterprise blues, people. Out-coherent nappy luau Gandhi dancer blues, people. Strange fruit, heebie-jeebie, five-spot mantanka, hurtling at the frequency of joy blues, people. The djembe was the world's first text message. You can't tell cats to take it slow, cause they'll just slow it a little faster. See, there's some out-doctrinated Saturday night fish fry, hot lips page type blues people. To be or not to bop, that is the harmonic progression blues people. Backwood, pigeon-toed, Congo Square, Helody and Midland blues people. Dark ensemble of Chicago, trading fours and eights blues people. Gumbo bent, no quadroon, testicle blues people. Pigfoot riff and a bottle of tears blues people. Cafe Society, Night and Amnesia, Lush Life blues people. Mac the Knife, Mulgrew Miller, Minstrelsy, Cramp blues people. Diminuendo and blues people. The anguish index in Black America is at an all-time high. Blues people. Beware of Wall Street and its aluminum laughter. It ain't drizzling. The earth is a drum kit. Each landmass stretched leather, and God just swept some brushes across the planet's hi-hats. Sound midnight, sound midnight. Do you know what it means to miss a Marie? Blues people, blues people, the blues people. I don't know if I went over the 20 minutes. I set my watch and it didn't go off. So, Bill, where's Bill? 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 I guess if he ain't here. Are you okay? You with me? All right. What do I read next? I don't know where Bill is, so I'll read the Sean Bell poem until he shows up. This is called Forever's Bread. Sean Bell was killed by the police as well. I actually was hoping, I started working on a poem for Freddie Gray, because it was interesting how he was killed on April 12th in Baltimore, and April 7th was the centennial of Billie Holiday's birthday, and she lived in Baltimore from the time she was 3 till 13, but I couldn't get it all together. I literally just got back home today from being on the road. Forever's Bread for Sean Bell. There's an epigraph by a priest named Father Lucas who presided over St. Mark's Church in Harlem, which was the first place that Marcus Garvey gave a speech in the United States. You see some fools with guns drawn, what are you supposed to do? Say, I wonder what's on their minds. Father Lucas. Topless brothel, hotbed of narcotics and prostitution, Club Kahlua, where happy hour is sometimes the sadness of 3,600 seconds. This set where some do upside down policing, walking on their heads while thinking on their feet. Oh, where is thy sting? Does anyone know the nor where my yoke is light and my easy is burden? He who words my hear, the now hour is and coming. As if he found another face, a man rocks a Chicago White Sox hat backward. He could use that cap while his first face sweet talks a stripper or orders something heartless and dark. And no, have you not that happened? 8 men empty the evening, and as if this were a game of pool, an invisible hand shoots the break. Rolling along the sidewalk, smooth gray playing surface, the men split into 2 groups. God, an illusory pool shark, calls the shots. Black man, street corner pocket. Quarrel, some. Burden, some. Worry, some. As cold creeps into the wee hour, Sean and his boys dribble into his Altima. Headlights butter the pavement. The way vomit makes a head snap forward, his hoopty lurches into an unmarked Ford Freestar. As officers overcoat undercovers, infinity resides between quiet and the flash of gunfire. Eventually, Sean's noggin falls forward as if someone has stapled 2 skyscrapers to his chin. Assassinate, shun, litigate, shun, execute, shun, devastate, Sean. Was it his ghost or a shoelace of smoke that inched from the Altima's radiator? Did a memory fidget in the back of his brain? When you die, do you step into a vestibule between this world and the next? When you die, does infinity feel the dent? Central booking waiting, fingerprints waiting, this time 5 cops. And another open was booked by the written which were, if there's no indictment, that boy dies twice. If we, Lord, we live to the if, and if we die to the 2, and blessed are the die who dead in the now. One officer reminds prosecutors that he logged over 600 arrests. He'll put the grand jury in his shoes, but remember, he was thinking with his feet. To keep Judas hooking against, instead of groomsmen, there's grave diggers. Instead of bridal white, there's widow's black. Instead of a best man, there's burial. Instead of a toast, there's tragedy. Instead of champagne and chit-chat, there's beer, there's brandy. I was drinking, you gave me no thirsty. I was food and you gave me no hungry. I was clothed and you nakeded me. Pity, us, fury, us, cancer, us, villain, us, murder, us, scandal, us, ruin, us, danger, us, envy, us, continue, us. When the now hour comes, remember me as you lord into your kingdom on the first week of the day. Women and certain other days then and went and bowed their faces to the afraid. They seemed to say, seek do you why the, not hear he. How do you scratch the surface of a city that never itches? When a man loses his life, who finds it? I the am and the resurrection of each of this anyone he will forever's bread, for my indeed is food flesh. Let not your you be troubled, because I go to place a prepare for you where you will wedding the wind. I, Sean, take thee, Nicole, to be my wife. On the night I was betrayed, to have and to hold, do not pass me by, in sickness and in health. Into your hands we commend our brother, for rich or for poor, the body and the blood, for better or for worse. The Lord be with you and also with you, to love and to cherish. Take all of you, drink, this is the cup of my blood, till death does its part. He makes me to lie down in green pastures. If there is anyone who disagrees with this, though I walk through the alley of the shadow of my breath, speak now or forever, holster your peace. Through him, with him, in him, at this scene I be dead. You live and reign forever and ever. I now pronounce you murdered and wronged. Dash is the dash is us to us. I am Ophel and Omega and the. Fool-proof, fire-proof, bullet-proof, trigger, happy, niggas, sad. Thank you. In the break, thank you. In the break, I actually have copies of my second book, which was a finalist for a prize, and I guess I might be coming back up here just to chat, but not doing any other poems. But I thank you very much, and have a wonderful summer, okay?